we've saved up. We've been saving up out of that. On your property taxes, you pay a separate line to HCFSA. We've been able to put some of that aside so we can pay cash. We'll be moving Station 103 from its current location over to 129th South, just kind of north of where it is now a little bit. We're shown 3 different designs last night. We settled on one pretty quickly as a council, so we're now going through more design. We'll approve it later this winter. Design work, engineering stuff, hopefully to start early spring. Should be open by summer 2026 at the latest.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Thursday, September 26th, and we're back after 1 week away. Hopefully you're feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed after being refreshed.
A little bit,
with 1 single week off the podcast.
Right.
I do feel refreshed. I've been first world problems. I totally get it. I've been traveling to a new destination for one reason or another every 2 weeks since the end of June.
Wow.
This week I had a public information officers conference in St. George, which was awesome. I was in New York last week, but I'm now done traveling.
For how long?
As of right now, I'm like, hopefully forever, but
forever.
Probably at least until spring.
Right.
It was great though.
Yeah.
I'm John LaFollette, communications manager, joined today by Mayor Palmer.
Good to be here.
I missed the city council meeting last night, so I'm curious what happened. It was a short agenda.
Yep.
If I remember right, there's only one on the work meeting.
One item.
Talking about the fire station.
Right.
So maybe some background there. Herriman has 2 fire stations. One is very old and frankly was never really meant to be a fire station when it was first built, and then it kind of became a volunteer station and add-on after add-on. And anyway, it's kind of a mess. It's livable, and the city's invested some money recently to make it more livable for the firefighters. Not a permanent solution.
Band-Aids. Yep.
Yeah. And the other fire station, Station 123 up on the hillside, is fairly new, good condition.
Yep.
But we've, in recent years, really been talking about the road to replacing Fire Station 103, the older one. What was the progress last night?
Right. So really, we've saved up. We've been saving up out of that. On your property taxes, you pay a separate line to HCFSA. And a portion of that's we've been able to put some of that aside so we can pay cash. So we'll be moving Station 103 from its current location over to 129th South, just kind of north of where it is now a little bit, 129th just a little bit west of 5600 West, right there, Rosecrest. So paying cash. So we were shown 3 different designs last night. We settled on one pretty quickly as a council. Brought in some colors from City Hall here to kind of blend some of the colors here, some colors from Kennecott, from the mine out there. And so really it's going to be a lot of reds still. Of course, it's a fire station. They like their reds. But so we're now going through more design. We'll approve it later this winter. And then design work, all, engineering and stuff. And then hopefully to start early spring next year. To be done. It's a 12 to 14 month build, they said, so should be open by summer 2026 at the latest. So
wow.
It's going to be good.
That's exciting.
So
I'm sure the firefighters are very excited for it.
We actually heard that it's kind of tough for them. They actually kind of like where they're at. Actually, they kind of said that last night, but yeah, it'll be good.
I'm sure it's one of those things. I get really sentimental when I have to sell a car and I'm upgrading a car. I cried when I sold my last car, traded it in, which is weird, I know, but I did. But then I got my new truck. This was years ago, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. I wonder, I've not talked to any firefighters about this. I don't know if you have, but I wonder if it'll be something like that.
That's what they were kind of saying last night. It's that sentimental stuff because they've been there part of their life, a lot of it. But yeah, once they get to the new place, I'm sure they'll love it.
That's exciting.
It'll be good.
In the consent agenda, which let me define that really quick. In the general meeting, there are discussion points. There are action items, which basically means the city council can vote on them to approve, deny, whatever. And then there's a consent agenda, which is kind of more procedural things, just I don't want to say formalities, but it's kind of that where things need to be approved, but they're not really worth discussing.
Right.
They've either been discussed before or they're just routine items.
Right.
So there's a list of things in the consent agenda, meaning you need the council's consent,
Right.
that are voted upon. They're usually approved together. One of those last night was an updated policy for renting rooms in the city hall.
Right.
That was discussed, I think, a couple of meetings ago in the work meeting. Maybe what's the Cliff Notes version of that new policy?
Really, we needed to update one. We needed to update the costs. The cost. We did an full analysis of what it costs to have our room, the community room here, specifically, even some of the conference rooms here. You know what it costs to have those available to the public, what it costs to clean them after they're used. So all of that, we did a full analysis. So we were low. We don't want to be. We still want to be affordable. We want it to be a space where the community can come. So there are some updates there. Did it to the schedule to where it is tough because we don't have the staff to come in on a Saturday necessarily. So we did it to where we can't have 2 rentals on a Saturday anymore. So you can't have a morning rental and then an evening rental on Saturday. There were issues sometimes of who caused a mess, whatever, who do we charge the deposit for. So now it's just 1 rental on a Saturday, no rentals on Sundays. That's not even a religious thing. Again, it's just we would have to have staff come in Saturday night or Sunday to clean up after a Saturday. So it's just, Wednesday nights there were some issues. We have council meetings, so there's times we have to be in that community room. So Wednesdays were eliminated as far as a rental night. This is, at the end of the day, first thing is we've got to conduct city business here, unfortunately. So Wednesdays are gone. So it's just tightened up a few things to make it a little just easier for staff but still keeping it open to the public like we hope it to be.
And you mentioned covering costs too. We've talked about this in a lot of different ways over the past couple of years, and we'll continue to reevaluating different city processes to make sure that the fees that we're charging are covering the actual costs of whatever's happening.
Right.
So
I think governments too often don't cover their costs. It's not, because it's not our money being spent. We're very careful as a council. That's not. Everybody says the city money, it's taxpayer money. So every dollar, we've got to cover that so that the residents in general, taxpayers, aren't supplementing rental spaces here at City Hall.
Right. And one other item from the general meeting was an appointment of Councilmember Hodges to, again, government acronyms, the Utah League of Cities and Towns, which is a group of cities and towns.
Yep, 248 of them.
From across the state of Utah who kind of band together and coordinate on a lot of things throughout the year. So maybe I guess you could spend first 15 seconds on what the ULCT is, and then we'll get into the LPC.
Yeah, really, so it's just a group of cities that get together to lobby for the rights of cities. There can be some city versus state issues, if you will, so that's where they're the lobbying group for all the cities and towns together.
And then within the ULCT, there's the Legislative Policy Committee. So it's ULCT, LCP.
Yep.
Government acronyms.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
So what is the setup there? What has changed, and what is Councilmember Hodges going to be doing there?
So every city gets 3. We've had 3 traditionally on this committee for a couple of years. It's been myself, Councilmember Shields, and Councilmember Orn. So we've been the 3 on there. I was just elected to the board of directors for the Utah League of Cities and Towns. And by doing so, now I already get a vote by being on the board. So that doesn't count towards our city's vote, or count the number of 3, if you will. So we were able to add another member. So now we'll have 4 voting members at that representing our city. Really the 3 representing the city, and I'm, my vote's kind of supposed to represent an area or region, they told me this last week in training. But again, so still at the table representing the city. So just that's where we were able to add another. So for now, 4 out of 5 of us are on this legislative policy committee, that they're the ones that actually vote on decisions, what positions to take. As far as when the lobbying comes down to the lobbying, we take the positions. That committee votes yes or no on taking certain positions.
So to avoid any confusion, you're not voting on laws or anything like that. You're not overruling any one city on anything. This is voting, like you said, to take formal positions for or against, neutral on legislative bills that are proposed, and as voting for the collective group's voice.
Correct. That's a great way to put it. Yep.
So that was the city council meeting last night. A couple other things going on. Starting today, it's Thursday, is Expedition Yeti. We mentioned this before, but maybe a quick recap. You'll find information on our social media, or you could go to herriman.org/expedition-Yeti. Actually, one more thing on our website I'll get back to in a minute.
Okay.
And this is a fun thing you can do at your leisure over the weekend. Multiple sites throughout the city. They're all listed there. You can go there, get some information and history on a little A-frame. It'll give you a clue to get you a passcode. That passcode gets you a prize entry for a drawing on Monday. So super fun.
So much fun.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just get your passcodes in on the website by Sunday night at midnight. There's an event here Monday evening at Crane Plaza, Crane Park. There'll be entertainment, food trucks, prize drawings, and hopefully a lot of fun for people.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So-
we did it last year. So much fun.
It was
Loved
great.
it.
Almost kind of a mini Yeti hunt. We know the Yeti hunt is super popular in the winter. If you haven't done the Yeti hunt before, get ready. It's coming. It's fun. But a nice kind of end of summer edition, if you will.
So much fun.
And the Herriman Howl is a week from this coming Monday.
Right.
October 7th.
Right.
I put that wrong on the signs at first, so sorry if you got confused. It is Monday, October 7th.
Right.
Not Saturday, October 5th. My bad.
Right. Right.
That was published on our digital sign, our lobby signs, the RSL sign.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I messed up.
Oh, no.
So
It
I
happens.
fixed it.
Right.
So it's Monday, October 7th. Go to herriman.org/events, herriman.org/Herriman Howl, and you'll get the information there. Super fun.
Such a fun night. Yep.
We'll give more details next week as we get a little bit closer, but
Perfect.
a lot going on. With the website, due to a change in state law, which we actually didn't know about until we kind of happened upon it earlier this spring, all city websites now have to be .gov instead of .org. So we made that transition this week.
Wow.
If you type in herriman.org, it will automatically redirect to herriman.gov. So everything should still work the same. Everything looks the same. We're going to have to redo our email addresses and other
that's
things.
going to affect emails eventually.
Yep. So we're working on that. There's a whole lot of other things going on. We'll have to talk about if we change the lettering on the police vehicles from herriman.org to herriman.gov. All these things. So we're working through that. But just so you know, if you go to herriman.org and you see it redirect to herriman.gov, that's why.
Still is us. Yep. Still. Okay.
So we had to make that transition by the end of January 2025. We didn't want to wait that long. We just said, let's just get it done, work out any kinks along the way. So there you go.
Oh, gotta love it.
We didn't even know.
Right.
Some cities probably still don't know.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
So they get to find out. But
Right.
so that's done now. If you type in Herriman events or herriman.org/events or something, all those sub pages should still also redirect to .gov. So hopefully users won't actually notice, but we are compliant with that state law now.
That's good to know.
I was going to ask about your Washington D.C. trip. You weren't there on city business.
Right.
You were there just kind of having fun. Mm-hmm. We're getting late in the podcast, so maybe a shortened version.
I'll give you a short version.
But what was that like?
You know, it was so, because my little guy, my 7-year-old, believe it or not, is really into history, loves the National Treasure movies. So he had been begging to go to D.C. So my wife had a conference in Virginia, so we just piggybacked, and we were able to see everything. We just had a blast. The monuments, we were in the White House. We got into the White House, the Capitol, up to the top of the Washington Monument. We had a great time, and I highly recommend that trip to anybody, especially if you're a history buff. Absolute great time.
Oh, it's so fun. That's one of my favorite cities. There's so much to do. A lot of it's free too.
A lot of it, most of it,
or included, if depending on your perspective,
right?
On tax money.
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
I'm glad you're ready to go. Your little guy got to see a lot of the.
He was happy, and that's what he was just smiles all week. So that's what it's about.
That's awesome. All right, well, that is all for this week on Herrimanology. Thanks, Mayor Palmer.
Good to be here again. Good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back. And I don't think we're going to miss any more weeks of podcasts. I don't have any travel plans as of now.
Good.
So I'm here at the office.
Good.
It's going to be great.
Nowhere to get hold of you then. So.
Thank you for listening and watching. As always, leave a comment or a question. We'll address it in the next episode. Still, no one's doing that.
Right.
We're gonna have to start making up some questions,
Right.
Because nobody's sending them in. I know people are listening.
Right.
We see people listening, and it's great. We love it. Just send us a question.
Yep. Anything.
Unless you know everything about government, then
And I don't.
good on you.
Yes. Right.
Anyway, that's all for this week. We'll catch you next time.